Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to a great day of learning. We are your teachers today. I'm Miss Brandy.
And I'm Miss Amanda. We are so glad you're with us today. We're going to have tons of fun. We're going to read and we're going to build our knowledge.
We've learned about the cycles of Earth's two movements in previous lessons. Today, we are going to learn about the second way the Earth moves, called revolution. Revolution is the action of moving around something in a path similar to a circle.
That's right. Now, Earth makes one revolution around the sun about every 365 days, or every year, like this.
Can you show someone in your house how to make a revolution around the sun? Great job. Our focus standards today are RI.2.2 and 3 and 9, along with SL.2.3 and L.2.5a. Have you ever noticed the length of your shadow and how it changes at different times of the day?
Well, now that you mention it, I have. Sometimes my shadow is even shorter than I am.
What do you think causes your shadow to be shorter or taller?
Well, I think maybe my shadow changes when the Earth turns away from the sun throughout the day.
Good answer, Miss Amanda. Boys and girls, do you think Miss Amanda's answer is correct? Yes, it is correct. And today, you'll be learning more about that revolution of the Earth around the sun.
Now I cannot wait for that. So let's look at some words that we're going to need to know for our story today. And then we can learn all about the Earth's revolution. All right?
That sounds great. So let's take a look at our first word. It looks like it's absorbed. Boys and girls, when we say what word, that means it's your turn to say the word back to us. So let's try it. What word? Yes, this word is absorbed. And absorbed means something that has been taken in and soaked up.
Aha.
An example of absorbed used in a sentence would be sunlight and water are absorbed by plants.
Now, our next word is adapt. What's the word? Yes, adapt. Adapt means to adjust or change to better suit an environment.
Oh, and I have a great sentence for this word. Many foxes that normally live in the wild have learned to adapt to a city environment.
Ah, nice. That's a great example, Miss Brandy. Now, migrate is our next word. What's the word? Yes, migrate. Migrate means to move from one area to another based on the seasons. So let's use this word in a sentence. The flocks of wild geese prepare to migrate south before the first snow of winter.
Okay, our next word is minimum. What word? Yes, minimum. And minimum means the least amount possible. And our sentence is bake the cookies for a minimum of 10 minutes. Otherwise, they might be too soft inside.
That's true. This is kind of making me a little hungry.
Me too.
All right, now our last word is photosynthesis. Look at that word. What's the word? Photosynthesis. That's it. Now, that's the process in green plants when they use light to turn water and air into food, and when the plant is exposed to sunlight.
Wow, that is a fun word to say. Let's use it in a sentence. Plants use photosynthesis to make their own food.
That word is so long, Miss Brady, we can't even get our other words together. Photosynthesis.
Yes, photosynthesis. And I am so excited to learn more about these words today. Boys and girls, are you ready to hear a story? Great, I am too.
So am I. Hi, boys and girls. We've brought along our slideshow once again today. long does it take for the Earth to complete one full orbit around the Sun? It takes the Earth 365 1/4 days, or 1 year, to complete one full orbit around the Sun.
Do you know why many plants grow more rapidly during the summer and more slowly or not at all during the winter? Or why some animals migrate whereas others hibernate? When an animal migrates, it leaves its home to spend the winter in a warmer place. When an animal hibernates, it finds a special place to rest until spring.
Only certain parts of our planet have seasons. This is because of the shape and tilt of the Earth. The region around the equator receives the greatest amount of direct, intense sunlight. This region of Earth is called a tropical region because it is almost always hot and humid.
The North and South poles receive the least amount of direct sunlight. They are the polar regions of Earth. Generally, they remain cold and dry. In recent years, however, as Earth's overall climate has changed and has become warmer, the polar regions are warming up too, and some of the ice caps in this region have been melting.
Now, the region between the poles on either side of the equator is called the temperate region. In this region of the world where we live, most places experience all 4 seasons of the year. Remember, during the time of year when the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun, this part of our world receives more daylight and more intense sunlight. This means it's summertime in the northern hemisphere. At the same time, the southern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, so it is winter there.
And remember, we live in the northern hemisphere. That's why, as Earth revolves around the sun and is tilted on an axis, the seasons change. Now, let's discover more information about each specific season. As each year passes in the temperate region of the world, changes occur in the weather. These weather cycles have been divided up into what we call the seasons. Each season brings with it incredible changes in the world around us.
In spring, daylight hours increase and the sunlight becomes much stronger. With warmer weather, more rain begins to fall. With increased light, warmth, and rain, plants begin to grow again. Seeds resting in the soil begin to take root. The warmth from the sun and the rainfall enables plant seeds to germinate or to begin to grow into plants.
You've probably heard the saying, April showers bring May flowers. New plants emerge, and plants that have been inactive for the winter become active and start growing again. As buds and leaves form, water absorbed or taken in by the plant travels up the stem to the leaves.
Now, in this context, the word buds means small parts that grow on trees and develop into flowers. The word buds can also mean friends, like my friend here, Miss Brandy.
Yes, plants use water and sunlight to make their own food, as well as oxygen for us to breathe. This process is called photosynthesis. It's during springtime that this great burst of life and energy occurs.
Now, in Mississippi, we see black-eyed Susans, geraniums, and marigolds, just to name a few.
Springtime also sees the return of animals that had migrated or moved to warmer places during the wintertime. It is also the time when some animals wake up from their winter hibernation. Spring is when many animals give birth to their young. Animals give birth either by bearing live young or by laying eggs. Animals that give birth to live young have nourished their babies inside their bodies. Scholars, what do we call animals that give birth to live young?
Ah, I heard you say animals that give birth to live young are called mammals. Those animals that hatch from eggs have been nourished by a yolk within the egg.
Because the northern hemisphere receives more intense sunlight from the sun at a more direct angle in the summer, temperatures are usually at their highest during these months. With the increase of light and heat in the summer, plants grow big and strong. Young animals are born and grow strong during this fruitful time as well. What kind of baby animals do we often see in spring and summer?
Great job, scholars. I heard we see baby birds, rabbits, and deer in the spring.
As the earth revolves and summer turns to autumn, both the temperature and the environment begin to change again. In autumn, while it is still warm, light from the sun is not as intense, and the growth and development of plants and animals begins to slow down.
Now, in many places in the northern hemisphere, autumn is a time to harvest the crops that have grown and ripened beneath the summer sun. Grass crops are harvested and grapes are picked from the vines. Fruits such as apples, pears, and pumpkins are ready to be eaten.
As the amount of daylight lessens and the temperature continues to drop, the leaves of many trees change color. During this time, in many parts of the northern hemisphere, a world of copper, bronze, red, and orange leaves are a sight to behold.
Leaves change color in autumn because deciduous trees receive less sunshine than they need to produce food, and photosynthesis stops. When photosynthesis stops, these leaves begin to die and fall off. The word deciduous comes from the Latin language, which means to fall down or fall off. Therefore, deciduous trees are trees that have leaves that change color and fall off. What other kinds of trees are there?
I know. Evergreen trees. Those are another kind of tree.
Why, yes, Miss Brandy, that is correct.
When winter arrives, it means that this part of the earth is now tilted away from the sun, and temperatures and sunlight are at a minimum. Remember, minimal means the smallest amount possible.
It also means that summer has arrived in the southern hemisphere. Because conditions are less favorable for living things in winter, growth and development slows down and even stops. During winter, deciduous trees rely on the food they previously produced and converted into energy. This food supply is stored in their roots. During winter, deciduous trees, as well as many other plants, enter a dormant state.
In winter, some animals whose food source is affected by the change in climate migrate or leave for warmer places. These animals sense the change in daylight and temperature and begin their annual migration. Migration is part of a yearly cycle of changes. Some birds, for example, travel long distances to their winter homes. They prepare for their migration by eating lots of food they can store as energy to use on their journey. Mammals, such as caribou and elk, migrate across vast expanses of land. And even fish migrate in winter in search of warmth and food.
Like many plants that lay dormant in winter, there are animals that hibernate. Hibernation is a kind of deep sleep. Like the deciduous trees, animals that hibernate rely on the food they have stored in their bodies to get them through the winter months. Can you name some animals that hibernate and some animals that migrate? There you go, scholars. Bears are animals that hibernate, and birds are animals that migrate. There also are some animals that stay in their natural habitat through the coldest months and survive as best they can.
Animals such as foxes, deer, and rabbits search for food on that frozen land. They have learned to adapt or adjust to their ever-changing environment. People adapt too. They prepare for the cold ahead by wearing warmer clothes and changing the food they eat.
Now, we're all part of this ever-changing and ever-ending cycle. When spring returns, the cycle of growth will begin all over again and new life will appear on the earth.
That was a lot of important information. Boys and girls, you did a great job listening to our story.
Yes, you did. Now, our scholars have learned so much about animals who hibernate and migrate.
Yes, they've also learned about the seasons and how they change.
Yes, they did. Now, Scholars, let's discuss our story, all right? We're going to ask you some questions, and then you can answer them aloud.
Okay, our first question. What is the main topic of today's read aloud?
Perfect one to start with. Yes, I heard someone say the main topic of today's read aloud is the seasonal cycle, and even how it influences animals and plants on Earth.
Yes. Question number 2. Why do plants grow more rapidly during the summertime than the other seasons?
Right again. Plants grow more rapidly in the summertime than during other seasons because it's the warmest time of the year and there's more intense sunlight.
Great answer. Next, why do only some parts of our planets have seasons?
I know. Only some parts of our planet has seasons because of the shape and the tilt of the Earth. The region around the equator is always hot and humid and does not have seasons.
Correct again. If it's summer in the northern hemisphere, what season is it in the southern hemisphere?
Oh. Aha. I heard our scholars say if it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it's going to be winter in the southern hemisphere.
Awesome. Next question. Why do some animals migrate south in the fall and return north in the spring?
There you go. Some animals migrate south in the fall to escape the cold winter.
Yes. Now, in which seasons do most animals give birth to their young?
I knew you knew it. All right. I heard you say most animals give birth to their young in the spring.
Yes. And in which season are many crops harvested?
Okay, you know this one.
Yep.
You were listening. Many crops are harvested in autumn.
Yes. Okay, next. Why do some trees shed their leaves?
Okay. Deciduous trees shed their leaves in the autumn, and they use that stored energy during the cold winter months. They go into that dormant state, right? They're inactive. And when spring arrives, it becomes warmer, so they kind of wake up.
Good answer. Good. Our last question is, how do people adapt to winter and summer?
Oh, I like it. People do adapt to winter and summer by making changes to the temperature in their houses, and maybe even changes to the clothes that they wear.
Yeah. Great job. Kiss your brain.
Now, Miss Brandy, I have a little something fun for us to do next.
Okay.
All right. Now, we are going to read a poem. So take a look at this image. All right. Scholars, when you are expecting someone, you are waiting for them to arrive or to come. Our poem today is written in the form of a letter. The title of the poem tells us that the letter is written to a bee. Now, wonder what that title is. Ah, yes. It's going to be Bee, I'm Expecting You. And it is written by Emily Dickinson. Bee, I'm expecting you. Was saying yesterday to someone you know that you were due. The frogs got home last week, are settled and at work. Birds mostly back. The clover warm and thick. You'll get my letter by the 17th. Reply, or better, be with me. Yours, Fly.
That was a fun poem. So let's talk about it with our scholars.
Okay.
Boys and girls, who was speaking in the poem? That's right, the fly. The fly was speaking in the poem.
Now, why is the fly expecting the bee? What season's coming?
The bee must be coming because spring is coming.
Scholars, I hope you enjoyed that poem as much as we did. It was fun and a little different.
Yes. Now we're going to move on and discuss some words called compound words.
All right. Compound words.
Yes.
Now, isn't that when two words are added together to make a new word?
Yes, Miss Amanda, that's right.
Right.
A compound word is formed when two words are added together to make a new word. And if you know the meaning of those two words, you'll most likely be able to tell the meaning of the new compound word.
Right. Right.
So listen carefully to see if you can tell which words make up each compound word. Here's
Okay.
our first one. Bedtime.
Bedtime.
Right. Bed plus time. And we know that bedtime means it's time to go to bed.
Aha. All right, now our next one is notebook.
I heard a scholar say notes book. And it means a book you write notes in.
Yes, that's correct. All right.
Great job. What about this one? Bathroom.
Bath
Yeah.
and room. So that's a room where you take a bath.
Awesome. When we know the meaning of individual words, we can more easily predict the meaning of compound words. In the read aloud, you heard the word springtime. Springtime is one compound word in the sentence. Which two words do you hear?
I heard some scholars say spring and time.
Yes, great job. What's the meaning of spring?
That's right, I heard it. It's a season. And
Yes.
flowers.
Yes. What is the meaning of the word time?
Ah. Correct again, scholars. When you do something, it's time when you do something.
Right. Yes, now let's use what you know about these two words to predict the meaning of springtime.
Okay. Ah, I've got an answer. It's the time when it's spring.
That is correct. Okay, wintertime is another compound word we heard in the sentence. Which two words do you hear in the word wintertime?
I already heard it. Winter time.
Yes. And what does winter mean? Or what is winter?
Oh, yes. That's right. It's the coldest season.
The coldest season. And what is time again?
It's when you do something.
Yeah, great. Scholars, talk to someone in your house about what wintertime might mean.
Ah.
After we are done today, you can use this new information. You can draw a picture of a compound word as well as the pictures of the individual words that make up the compound word. You know, like sunlight and firefly and flashlight, moonlight, and grasshopper.
I love that. You know what else? You can also write a sentence about your compound word on the back of that paper that you just drew on. All right, and you can share your drawing and writing with your family in your home.
Yes. I've had so much fun today, boys and girls, and I hope you've enjoyed learning all about this fun information. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
We sure do. Please join us again as we continue to explore all kinds of animals and places and events in our wonderful world. And thanks for doing your best today, scholars. Be sure to share something you learned today with someone in your home.
All rights and credits for today's lesson belong to Core Knowledge Language Arts. We would like to thank them for publicly sharing these valuable resources. The views and opinions expressed in this lesson are those of the Core Knowledge authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Mississippi Department of Education. Thank you for joining us today, boys and girls. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.